Fernando, by the way.
Nice to meet you. I'm Kehlani.
Yeah, I know. Finally, I get to meet you. I mean, all I ever hear about, being in the Bay is Kehlani, Kehlani. Everybody knows Kehlani, but like I've yet to spend time with you. So
Well, you are
I've
a
been.
legend, so I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. Where are you? What's going on? First of all, I love what's going on. Are you in bed right
Hello.
now? Oh, I wish I were in bed. I mean, this has been going on for a while. Can you believe this? Like where we're at right now? This is unbelievable. I don't think anybody would have ever dreamed that we'd all be like stuck in our houses for this long of time. How are you handling it so far?
Honestly, it's been a real opportunity to like learning, get good at things that I never had the time to do. I'm shooting my own videos. We're editing my own videos in my garage. We've transformed my garage from a storage space to a recording studio side, a photo studio in the back, a video editing studio on the other side. So
Yeah, like was this something you always wanted to do, or is it something that you're like, okay, well, I guess we got nowhere to go. Might as well get this type of stuff done. I got some ideas for this space.
no, this is something I always wanted to do. I mean, I didn't really dream of transforming specific into this space, but I always wanted to have the skill set of knowing how to do things for myself in my career, under my the time.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like too, like now is a good time because uh, like all of these things that we kind of had up in our heads that we're just like, oh, I just want to, I want to do this. I want to learn a language. I'm like teaching myself how to play guitar right now, which is something I've always wanted to do, but
Exactly.
now I have the time.
There we go.
So what has it been like? You've had your first child recently,
Mhm.
and what's that like to be? I mean, I feel like it might be more of a blessing to have all this time to kind of bond with
Yeah.
your baby.
Yeah, I mean, she's in her very important first stages of a lot of things, feeding herself, walking, saying her first sentences, words, phrases, things like that. And I'm not missing any of it because she's right with me. So it's just been like perfect to have her from sun up to sundown within feet away from me. So
Yeah, so you can kind of keep an eye on her and just to have that quality time, which is
yeah.
great.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like, "Wow, mommy, you don't have to leave for a couple hours and go to the studio." Like I can
yeah,
tell that she feels like that. She's like super comfortable with me being 24/7 home now.
yeah. Like, is she now? She's at an age, right? She's not waking up in the middle of the night anymore, is she? Like, is she crawling into bed with you? Or?
Well, nah, she's not waking up in the middle of the night, but she's definitely waking up super early.
Yeah, like she's your alarm clock,
Mhm.
right? What time are you awake anymore? Like,
I'm
what is like your
beyond.
normal? Oh, I know how you feel. Like you don't even know what time it is anymore. I
My
don't. I
God.
don't. I don't even know what day it is. What time do you normally get up though? Like, what time is wake up time?
Like 5 or 5:30. Yeah, like
In the
5:30.
morning?
My daughter, she gets up right either before the sun or with the sun, depending on the day, and it's up and
Yeah.
at it. As soon as she's up, it's like, let's go.
Right. And she's like a morning person. Now, are you going to bed any earlier? Or are you still going to bed kind of late
No,
at night? Like,
because I try to spend as much time as I can with her while she's awake. So I try to work while she's asleep. So I'm getting little to no sleep.
yeah. And I'm sure the new studio in the garage there is all, is soundproofed and you're not disturbing anybody else. How about for like your creativity? Like, I mean, has it been are you the type of person that likes to just kind of hang out at home and write songs and just come up with sounds? And has it been good for your mind that way?
I mean, I prefer to write and record at the studio because I write in the way of just like freestyling a bunch of different things and then stick landing, like figuring out what I sticks, figuring out what sticks and then working with that. But I just set up a recording setup in my studio like officially like a couple of days ago. So I'm gonna start playing around with that. So it'll be no biggie.
Yeah. And how about like I saw like your new album is coming out, which by the way, congratulations because I was just told before we jumped on the call that like it's already number one on Apple iTunes with just for the pre-order. So
That's
props
crazy.
to you. How's that feel?
I try not to hold those things as what makes it a big deal for me. I'm just happy I got it out. I'm happy that I took the challenge of still putting it out on my own, doing everything myself. Because that was kind of the trade off with, the team that we did it with. It was like, you can still release your album if you are basically saying you will take matters into your own hands, shoot your own album cover, shoot your own videos, shoot your own promo shots, do all that yourself. And I was like, don't tell me that. I'll take that as a challenge and I'll do it. So I'm more impressed with that factor than like, if it'll do any numbers or anything like that.
Yeah, and that is, I guess that does seem to be the trade-off, right? I mean, I know it's funny because there were a few album releases this year, like like I look at Dua Lipa, and there was a talk about. I know that like when her new album came out, she was worried because she just didn't know how the album would be received. Now that we're all indoors and facing what we're facing, and then you got Lady Gaga, who's like, well, no, I'm just gonna push mine back a little bit more, push it back. So they're both kind of taking different routes, and it seemed to work for Dua. She's fine, but I mean, was that something you sort of lost sleep over? As far as like, gosh, okay, if I do drop this album now, how is that going to affect you? Like, did you worry about that?
No, not really, because I just feel like I have a lot more music to make, and by the time this is up, I'm gonna want to make another album, and then want to make another album, and if I don't get this out now, then it's just gonna be like
Yeah,
whatever, and I feel like I'm so sorry.
no, that's all right.
The kind of I feel like the kind of music that it is, it isn't music that you have to be outside or in the club or out doing things to enjoy. Like you can turn this on in your house. You can listen to this and just go take a car ride. You can sit in your backyard and listen to this. You can put it on, lay in your bed and think about it. I don't know. It isn't so like dependent on like people being in serious motion, which I think, for someone like Lady Gaga, I could understand because she makes those dance records where like
Yeah.
you want to get up and dance, and not too many people are kind of in that mood right now. So I could understand her fears.
Yeah, you really do have to kind of like know yourself, know your music well enough to realize, okay, well, what are people doing with
Right.
my do you use that mindset ever though, like, what do I want people to be doing when I'm when I'm making this song? Or I mean, does that come into play at all, like what you
Yeah,
expect
I
people to
mean,
be
I
doing?
know for a fact there's just certain things, having grown up listening to certain genres of music, that I associate certain types of songs with doing different activities. There's songs where I know I'm like, this is I'm gonna get up, put my hair in a bun, and deep clean my room. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
put it on loud and deep clean my room. And then there's stuff where I'm like, this is for when I'm putting on my makeup to go to the club, and then when I get in the car to go to the club so I don't get sleepy. And then here's music when like I'm really in my feelings and I want to go take a drive by myself and maybe park my car at the beach. Like there's different songs for different stuff. So of course, when making it, I'll go test it out in those environments. Like I'll clean to the song, or I'll
yeah.
drive to the beach at nighttime and see how it sounds. And I would hope that people connect to it in the ways that I did.
I'm curious, like outside of your own songs, like are there like what are going back to those songs, like like songs for specific activities, like if you're getting ready to go out to a club, what is like that song that gets you pumped up? Or like while you're putting your makeup on, getting your hair done, is there like a particular song that comes to mind? Just anybody.
Um, I think "Where Your Money At" by Nipsey Hussle.
All right.
I think I know it's a little gangster, but it's like real, but it's also turned, and it keeps me awake because I'm a generally sleepy person. Like
Yeah. Was he inspiration for you? Was he somebody that you knew and now miss, since he passed away? Um,
he was inspirational as a human being. As a musician, absolutely. Just you can tell the care and the time put into the lyrics themselves. You can tell they weren't just like, I used to hear stories about how long it took him to finish a song just because the care that he put into his verses and rewriting them and making sure the writing was perfect and things like
yeah.
that. Um, but I looked up to him a lot as a human being, and just his philanthropy and his stance on politics, his stance on his duality as a inspirational figure in the hood, whether it be in the crazier gang world or in the transforming his community, and how those intersected beautifully, and his fatherhood and his care for his family and his lovers. So definitely he was super inspirational. I didn't really know him. I just more so looked up to him as like a legend in the city that I've been living in for 8 years. So
Yeah. Yeah. And how are things in LA? Like, are you enjoying living there? And because we miss you in the Bay.
I
I think a lot of
know.
people are like, come home, girl, come home.
I know I come home a lot. I just don't make it a loud thing. I come home, I go to the same places. I go to what is that place on Telegraph where I do sake bombs every single time I come home. It's something that starts with a K, and my mom brain is killing me right now.
Uh, all
It's
right,
in
I'll find
Oakland.
it.
It's on. You'll find it. Shout out to them. I go. They know
Yeah.
me every time for renting out the back room and taking all my friends to get sake bombs. Every time I come home, I grew up right in that area near Temescal.
Yeah.
So I come home a lot. I just don't make it a big deal because if I lived in the Bay, I don't think I would be able to do as many things that make me happy, like regular things like going outside and doing regular stuff that I get to do in LA because people aren't really tripping off me here. But if
Right.
I was in the Bay,
Okay.
you just see me walking down the street.
Oh yeah.
Or someone told everybody I was at the grocery store. That's happened to me before. They was like, "She's at Target," and all of a sudden, there's so many people at Target. I'm like, man, in LA, I might could just go to Target and it'd be fine. But it doesn't make me love home any less. It just makes me very aware of like I need to just be smoother when I go home because it's my hometown.
Yeah. Well, here, we're doing our radiothon today to help out Bay Area food banks.
Mhm.
And I was just curious, did food banks ever play any part in your life? Was there a need at some point, maybe while you were growing up?
Well, I mean, I don't think necessarily with that, but my mom was always on EBT, and that kind of, I don't know where that intersects. I don't know if that intersects at all, but she definitely needed assistance to feed my siblings and whatnot. And thank God for resources like that for people to be able to access just food and water and just things that they need because I feel like local stuff like that does more than when you even go in and get things like EBT and go in
Yeah.
and get large governmental assistance. The local stuff be 10 times more helpful in my opinion. So
Well, sure, and the food banks here, I mean, they work really hard to get fresh, nutritious food for the people that need it, and I do think it plays in together. I mean, you do have some services that do come from the government. I know, obviously, uh, they do a lot of good for people, and then but this kind of plays into that too. I mean, there's government services, and then there's things that are just available, to everyone
mm,
locally, and regardless, we all have to support that, and
right.
that's what we're trying to do today, is just try to get as many people as we can to donate and share their resources, because there are an awful lot of people, especially right now. I mean, they're telling us that the people here in the Bay, too many were food insufficient even before this pandemic hit, and now
Mhm.
they're seeing so many new faces, and a lot of things too is people have a lot of pride, and they don't necessarily want to go and
They don't
and
want to go
and
get help.
accept this. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think it's important to just kind of put that aside and say, hey, we need it. Just do what you got to do.
completely. And especially if you're in a family, that family will thank you. You know what I'm saying? People around you will thank you. We need you here. So you need to allow people to help you because we need you here. So,
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Kehlani, thank you so much. And you know what? Continue success with the new album. It drops this Friday. Am I correct?
yep.
All right. I want everybody to remember that. Go and stream, go and buy the album. And we appreciate you. And when you come back to the Bay and you want to make a big
Hang
deal
out
about
in
it,
person.
what's that?
We're going to hang out in person.
Okay. I would love to do that. In fact, I keep hearing about this ice cream shop you used to work in over
Uh-huh.
in Berkeley. I
Yep.
don't drink I don't drink a ton, but I'll go get ice cream with you.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, let's make it happen. All
Bye.
right. Great to spend the time with you. Thank you.